knew we were going to travel through quite some trouble spots. Within the sub-region, there are certain areas where a few challenges are ongoing. And so we didn't have to draw any attention to ourselves that we were available to be taken for any reason. So first of all, from a security standpoint, we had to fly under the radar and get out of the trouble spots before we could start telling our story. So that's why we didn't make any noise about it.
Yeah, thanks. In terms of the challenges, I think the challenges in and of itself were some of the valuable lessons that we picked up. First of all, trying to coordinate 5 cars, and we started off as 13 people, is not an easy feat, right? It's getting to understand each and everybody and the value that they bring to the whole journey was critical. So I think those dynamics were some of the first initial things that needed to be smoothened out. So to be fair, not every one of us has been partaking in the funeral tourism or climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, right? So in coming in, we then have to learn how to adjust, right? So that first of all is the team dynamics. Then second of all is the reality. So talk about border crossings. So for me, that's one takeaway in terms of a challenge. And I'll juxtapose border crossings in Africa versus our experience in Europe, right? In Europe, we entered, at no border has anybody asked us a question about our cars. Nobody has asked to see any paperwork. And there's a phrase we learned in Africa. It's called carte grise. Laissez-passer. Nobody has asked for that. So the border crossing piece, I think, is a challenge. Entry and exit in our sub-region or in our region is difficult. It's difficult even amongst the ECOWAS community. It is difficult. So that's the first thing that we can do for ourselves as a people, is to ease movement. Once we've decided that these people are free to move, let's make it a reality. So border crossing is a key takeaway. But let's not look at it from the scenario of even the travelers. The people working at the borders and the facilities available to them need to improve. I will not mention a country, but in one of the countries, the health officer checking our yellow cards was sitting under a mango tree. The immigration officer was sitting on the front balcony of somebody's house. Right? That's the reality. Second is the infrastructure piece that I talked about, right? So there's the good, then there's the bad. Now, roads. We are traveling by roads, so roads is the pertinent infrastructure that we observed. Where the roads were done, and in this case, I will mention a country. So Senegal. From entry to exit, the roads were perfect. We paid tolls, and very expensive tolls at that, but none of us complained, right? So the willingness, I think there's always a willingness to pay when the infrastructure is there. So it's worth investing in that infrastructure. When it is not good, it is a challenge. But actually, once we hit certain countries and we say, oh, it's 800 kilometers to our next stop, we just do it, right? So the infrastructure is another challenge that we will call out. And the border piece as well, there can be extremes, right? And I think some of the challenges we had in countries like Mauritania are out there, right? So I think I can generalize that to say across our nations, we can make life so much easier for us all. Thank you.